What's going on, people? Welcome to part 2 of a video that I did titled, Why do these European icons depict black people? This video is a continuation of that video, so please, for the brothers and sisters that are listening, if you have not seen part 1, one more time, it is titled, Why do these European icons depict black people? Please go watch that video first before you watch this, because it's important to understand the context going into this video. But to make a long story short, these icons, of course, are going to be depicting so-called black people. And I just want to reiterate, these icons did not get dark over time due to old age. They did not get dark due to incense smoke. They did not get dark because of oxidation. They did not get dark because of the passage of time. These are all lies and narratives concocted to write off why these icons are depicting so-called black people. But with all of that being said, we're just going to continue off from where we left off and go straight into the icons. So here is an icon showing multiple icons within the icon. And as you can see from some of the figures, I'm assuming some of the figures on the side are the apostles. We have some angels here. We have the angel to the side. Of course, supposedly Christ and Mary. Now the reason why I say supposedly Christ and Mary, as I mentioned in part 1, brothers, sisters, whenever you see the image of a mother holding a child like this, it's actually in worship of the mother goddess and her divine child. She's also known as Semiramis, Semiramis Aphrodite, the divine mother. The child is also known as the divine son or Tammuz. But of course, and this is what Catholicism does, but they tell the masses, they tell the public that it's the Virgin Mary, in quotation marks, and Christ. And like I mentioned, even if this was the Virgin Mary and Christ, you're not supposed to be worshipping and bowing down to image and statues regardless. But this is an icon showcasing video, so point being is that, as you can see, all the figures are so-called black. So this is an icon showing the fiery scent of Elijah. So this is another icon showing many icons within the icon of various figures. As you can see, there's Christ. This is most likely the Apostle John. Of course, there's Mary. Point being, once again, that all of them are so-called black. icon showcasing John the Baptist. Another icon showcasing John. And here's another one showcasing John. So this is an icon showcasing Prince Mikhail or Michael, and he was Grand Prince of Kiev from 1236 till 1239, and this icon is showcasing him sending his boyar to St. Nikita. So here is another icon of Prince Michael, and it's titled Prince Michael, sending his boyar to the monastery, who meets a demon in the form of a monk. And like I keep saying for the umpteenth billion time, if the narrative is that it got dark over time, these icons, I have to ask over and over again, just from this icon in and of itself, can somebody please to explain to me why the horse is still purely white, yet the humans, the figures, are still dark pigmented? Of course, my point is redundant by now. So this is an icon of Abraham's bosom, and this is Abraham is shown with two other patriarchs, his son Isaac and his grandson Jacob, and the 12 sons or the 12 tribes of Israel. So this is an icon showcasing Christ, Yahushua, catching fish with the apostles, of course proceeding to John 2 and 13. So this is an icon showcasing the expulsion of Adam and Eve out of the garden. So this is an icon showcasing the feeding of the 5,000, of course, proceeding to Matthew 14, verse 13 down onwards. As you can see, there's Christ, Yahushua, breaking the bread. All so-called black people. So this is an icon showcasing Saint Nicholas. So an icon showing Christ, Mary, Saint John, Saint Nicholas, and Saint Demetrius. So this is an icon showcasing Vladimir I, also known as Vladimir the Great, and his two sons, princes Boris and Gleb. And like you can see, dark pigmented. Here's another icon of Vladimir, Boris and Gleb. And here's an icon of Boris and Gleb by themselves. So now we're going to read some information about Boris and Gleb and how they passed away. Now with that being said, disclaimer, I will be pronouncing a lot of these names and locations wrong, so you're going to have to bear with me. Now it reads, Saints Boris and Gleb were sons of Saint Vladimir. Saint Boris was named Romanus and Saint Gleb was named David after their baptism. After their father's death, their eldest son, Sviatopol, planned to kill his brothers Boris and Gleb and Yaroslav in order to seize power. He sent a message to Boris pretending that he wished to live in peace with him and to increase Boris's landholdings inherited from their father. Some of Vladimir's advisors told Boris that he should take the army and establish himself as ruler of Kiev. Saint Boris, however, said that he could never lift his hand against his own brother. Unfortunately, Sviatopol was not so scrupulous. He came to the town of Vesherad or Veshegorod, like I said, bear with me on my pronunciation, to ask its leaders if they were loyal to him. They assured him that they were ready to die for him. Sviatopol sent assassins to the altar to kill Boris, who already knew that his brother wanted him dead. When they arrived, they heard chanting psalms and praying before the icon of Christ. He asked the Lord to strengthen him for the suffering he was about to endure. He also prayed for Sviatopolk, asking God not to count this against him as sin. Then he lay down upon his couch, and the assassins stabbed him with their lances and killed some of Boris's servants. Wrapping Boris in cloth, they threw him in a wagon and drove off with him. When Sviatopolk saw that he was still breathing, he sent some men to finish him off with swords. After Sviatopolk had killed Boris, he wondered, "Now, how can I kill Gleb?" He sent a message saying that their father was ill and wanted to see him. As he was on his way, he received word from Yaroslav that their father had died and that Sviatopolk had murdered Boris. Saint Gleb wept for his father and brother and was lamenting them when the assassins arrived. They seized his bow and drew their weapons, but it was Gleb's cook Torchin who stabbed him with a knife. The martyr's body was thrown onto the shore between two trees. Later, he was buried beside St. Boris in the church of St. Basil. St. Boris and Gleb were received the crown of martyrdom in 1015. They became known as passion bearers, since they did not resist evil with violence. The holy martyrs princes Boris and Gleb were also commemorated on May 2nd. So here are the icons one more time. So just for comparison's sake, I've put them next to each other. The authentic version next to the whitenized, refurbished, Renaissance and remodeled version. Now before we get back to the icons, some of you may ask, KMZ, KMZ, where do you find a lot of the icons that you showcase in your videos? Brothers, sometimes finding a lot of these icons is not as complex as you may think that it is, but of course you have to be in the know and be privy to this type of information to even know what to look for. But I'm going to show you a really easy and simple way. So one way you can find some of these icons is a website called Pinterest. Now you go into the search bar and you type in words and phrases such as Black Russian icons, Black Europe, Black European coat of arms, Moor coat of arms, spelled M-O-O-R or M-O-H-R, Holy Black Roman Empire. Now I've typed in Black Russian icons and these are the results that come up. And sometimes you can just click on some of these icons and it takes you to somebody's page that has them that have a lot of these icons saved. And sometimes you click on the icon and it can take you to a link where it showcases what's being displayed in the icon. Another great page is Ariel. He has a lot of great icons. Now I'm going to show you another way. So let's just say you stumble across an icon, but you don't know what's being showcased or what event is taking place in the image. For example, if I was to show you this icon, but you have no knowledge of course, so-called black people ruling Europe, you'll see an icon like this, but you don't know what's being taking place. So how do you go about finding out what event is taking place in this image? So one way you can find out what's taking place in a lot of these icons is you go into Google and you click the little camera by the microphone. This is Google Lens. Now it's going to ask you to upload a file. So of course you save the image to your computer and then you pull it in. So let's find the image. So here it is. Of course I already have it titled, but let's just say you didn't know what's being showcased in this image. So you put the image in Google Lens and look at this. To the right, it brings up a bunch of results. Now these websites will take you to like the original source or what's being displayed, and already you can see it's titled Saint Francis of Assisi Exorcise Demons. So let's just click on the first link. Now you see right off bat, it gives you what's being displayed in the icon. Saint Francis of Assisi, an exorcist of demons. So that's the event that is taking place in the icon. Like I said, sometimes it's not as complex as you may think that it is to find out about these icons. But of course, you have to be in the know and you have to be privy to this type of information and to even know what to look for in the first place. And let's just scroll down. And as you can see, it gives you more fine print details of the icon. And for those of you who are new, if you decide to do your own research and do this method, you're going to be on a long rabbit hole, because when you do this, you're going to stumble across icons that you weren't even looking for in the first place. So that's just one way you can find out about these icons. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some books about the black presence / black rulership in Europe. So take note. So the first book, The Negro Rulers of Scotland and the British Isles, by Dr. John L. Johnson. Next, Ancient and Modern Britons, by David McRitchie. Next up, we have The Negro Question, Part 4, The Missing Link, by Lee Cummins. Next, we have Origin of the Anglo-Saxon Race, a study of the settlement of England and the tribal origin of the Old English people. Next we have Black Africans in Renaissance Europe. Next, When Scotland was Jewish, DNA evidence, archaeology, analysis and of migrations, and public and family records show 20th century Semitic roots. And of course, Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers. And these are just some books for those of you who want to do your own research of the black presence / black rulership in Europe. But with that being said, let's head back straight to the icons. So Ivan the Terrible, Grand Prince of Moscow, and of course another famous historical Russian Tsar. But why am I bringing him up? Now of course this is an icon showcasing video. Unfortunately, I do not have a portrait or an icon showcasing the authentic Ivan the Terrible, and of course the images that you currently see on your screen are all fake. But what we do have are two of the sons of Ivan the Terrible. Now for those of you who have seen my Byzantine icons, Black Russians, Black rulership, you guys already know which images I'm about to show. So this is the successor and one of the sons of Ivan the Terrible, Fyodor the First of Russia. Now let's get Fyodor's younger brother and one of the other sons of Ivan the Terrible. So this is Prince Dmitri of Russia, and this particular icon is found at the Solovetsky Monastery. So if both of the sons of Ivan the Terrible were so-called black, by deductive logic and deductive reasoning, we can say that Ivan the Terrible was a so-called black man. So going back to this, who the heck is this? Now of course, I'm asking that rhetorically. So here is an icon showing Basil the Blessed, and as we can see in the icon, he is a so-called black man. Now like I keep saying over and over again, if the narrative is that icons like these get dark over time, I have to ask, why is the robes here still purely white but his pigmentation is dark? Why didn't his robes get dark over time? As a matter of fact, when we look at the whole icon, the whole background is white, yet their pigmentation is still dark complected. But of course, this is rhetorical by now. So a bit of information about Basil. Now I may butcher some of these words because of course some of these words are Russian. But with that being said, when he was 16, the saint arrived in Moscow and began the difficult exploit of his foolishness for Christ. In the burning summer heat and in the winter's harsh frost, he walked about barefoot through the streets of Moscow. His actions were strange. Here he would upset a stand with kalichi, and there he would spill a jug with kvass. Angry merchants throttled the blessed one, but he endured their beatings with joy and he thanked God for them. And then it was discovered that the kalichi were poorly cooked and the kvass was badly prepared. The reputation of Saint Basil quickly grew, and people saw him as a holy fool, a man of God, and a denouncer of wrong. In an early icon, Saint Basil is portrayed as old with white hair, curling at the ears, and a short curly white beard. He is completely naked and holds a handkerchief in his hand. So let's go back to the icon. As we can see to the left, of course, this is Basil. The veneration of Saint Basil the Blessed was always so strong that the Trinity Temple and the attached Protection Church were renamed for him, the famous Saint Basil's Cathedral in Moscow. So of course, this is the famous cathedral in Moscow, which of course is a huge tourist attraction in Russia. So Saint Basil the Blessed Church constructed on Red Square in Moscow between 1554 and 1560 by Tsar Ivan IV, also known as the Terrible. Oh, I forgot to mention, Basil was also known for his criticism and the harshness of Ivan the Terrible. So as a votive for his military victories over the Khanates of Kazan and Astrakhan, the church was dedicated to the protection of the intercession of the Virgin, but it came to be known as the Cathedral of Vasily Blasheny. After Basil, the Russian holy fool, who was idiotic for Christ's sake, and who was buried in the church during the reign of Tsar Theodore I, which of course we saw his icon previously. So this is a before and after. Of course, to the left is the authentic version, and to the right is the whitenized version, the refurbished, the Renaissance, the reconstructed version. So I might be doing a part 3, part 4, I don't know, we'll see, because there's still many icons to get through. But I just want to let you guys know, after I'm finished done doing this little Russian icon showcasing video series, after that I want to go into the coat of arms and family crest. As we can see, I want to go into these and provide my commentary over it, going into more detail on some of these coats of arms and family crest. That's going to be after the little Russian icon series that I'm doing. No promises though, because I may come out with a different video that has nothing to do with these family crests. But with that being said, for those of you brothers and sisters who want to tip/donate to my video making efforts, you could donate/tip to me on Cash App, Patreon, YouTube memberships, or PayPal. With that being said, giving all praises to the Most High Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, deuces.